Graeme McDowell is here. He is currently ranked as the 8th best golfer in the world in 2010. That's right, the 8th best player in the world. In 2010, he won at Pebble Beach, becoming the first man from Northern Ireland to win the championship. Later that year, he sunk the winning putt that propelled Europe to triumph in the Ryder Cup. I am very pleased to have him here at this table for the first time. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks
nice
for having me in.
Now,
Very
what
nice
is it about Northern Ireland that breeds all you great golfers?
That's a good question. I mean, you know, we've had three major champions in the last 3 or 4 years from a small country of 1.5 million people, which is mathematically quite pretty outstanding.
Yes.
You know, I think it's the accessibility of the game of golf. You know, I think Britain and Ireland, golf is around globally a very elite game. Requires a lot of money to play the game of golf. We're lucky in Britain and Ireland. I don't think I would have ever played the game of golf. Mum and Dad were pretty working class people. Thankfully, the game of golf was affordable. For about $150 a year, I could be a member of Portrush Golf Club and have all the golf and all the access to all the golf I could ever want and need. And I believe that Britain and Ireland, we have that all over, which really helps guys develop and really breeds junior golfers, and that's kind of why we've enjoyed some nice success.
And is that true throughout Europe, or mainly in a few places?
I speak for Britain and Ireland. You know, obviously I've played all over Europe and all over the world, and you know, I see that model kind of trying to be replicated. The game of golf is still a little bit too elitist. We still have that kind of wealthy stigma attached to the game of golf, and it's important that we try to get rid of that. I think the Olympics in 2016, releasing funding all over the world, really helping drive this game forward and trying to shake off that kind of elitist tagline that we have.
When did you pick up a club?
First time I picked up a club, I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I grew up on the north coast of Ireland, the beautiful town of Portrush, and very lucky to have kind of one of the most amazing links golf courses in the world on my doorstep. So it was inevitable that I'd try the game of golf at some point. So picked it up kind of 4, 5, 6 years old, started to take it fairly seriously in my early teens, and knew that I loved the game, knew that I loved the competitive element to it, and knew that I wanted to be better and continue to strive to get better. And luckily, I managed to be able to follow my dream and be making a living at the game I love.
When did you know that you had the stuff to be able to compete on the tour?
You know, it was probably fairly late on. You know, I felt like I was a reasonably late bloomer. You know, my 16, 17 years old, I was a good player, but I wasn't a great player. I was maybe within the top 15, 20 kids in Ireland. I knew that I wanted to come to the States. I remember seeing one of those college golf bags with the logo emblazoned up the side. I remember seeing one of those for the first time, and I said,
there you go.
I want one of those. I want to come to play college golf in America. So I came out here for 3 years to the University of Alabama at Birmingham, down there. And
now, why there?
Well, a lot of people have asked me, how does a kid from a small town in Ireland end up in Birmingham, Alabama? And they chose me. You know, the coach there, Alan Kaufman, made a phone call to me one evening when I was at college back home, and said to me, "Would you like to come and play college golf for UAB?" And I said, "Where's that?" You know, he said, "You know, come out and see us, come out and check us out." And I knew right that second that that's where I wanted to be.
They got some good courses in Alabama.
I was very lucky. Birmingham had two of the few very important components required to develop as a college player. They had great facilities, great climate, and we had a great schedule. You know, I was lucky I fell on my feet there at UAB. It's a small school, maybe not one of the more well-known schools here in the States, but it lucked out. It was a big turning point in my life.
How long have you known Rory?
I've known Rory, you know, I remember the first day I ever heard about Rory. I can't remember where I was, but there's a big event played at my home course in Portrush. It's a big amateur event called the North of Ireland Amateur Championship, and Rory shot a 61 at Royal Portrush Golf Club. And someone said that to me.
That got your attention, didn't it?
I was like, come again? 61, really? And he was 15 at the time, and I thought, okay, I've heard of kids coming and going, but this kid's the real deal. And one of the first times I ever played golf with him was the Dunhill Links Championship back in Scotland. We had a practice run together at St Andrews. We played for a few bucks. I shot 68, and this young whippersnapper took the cash. I think he whipped it around in about 65, and I thought, okay, this kid's pretty good. So
well, that's good though. You had somebody you could play against.
You know, he's been, you know, I feel like we've motivated each other. He's motivated me more than anyone really. You know, playing practice rounds with him, you typically walk off after that practice round and you think, you feel demoralized about your game. You're like, this guy makes it look way
Now,
too
what
easy.
is it he does before we talk about your game?
What does he do? He plays the game with the right attitude, I think. I think he's a great role model for any young kids out there wanting to learn how to play the game with the right attitude and the right love. You know, he bounces around the course. Yeah. He's got the right, really reacts.
Most of the time.
Plays it fast, plays it well, swings the club beautifully.
Yeah.
You know, he's long, he's powerful. For a small guy, he's 5'8".
Yeah.
You know,
what is he off the tee, you think?
He probably
when he lets it out?
He flies at 320, 330 off the tee. I'm a sort of mediocre 285 guy through the air. So you know, I'm probably it's an area of my game that I looked at in the off season. I thought I could do have been a little longer. I felt like it was going to weaken what was good about my game. I'm very accurate. I'm a great iron player and a great short iron player. So I decided that I just have to live with these kids whipping it by me. That's just going to be part of life for me. But you know, Rory's 5'8", 150, 160 pounds.
And you are?
I'm like 5'10", 175 pounds. I'm getting an old man now. He's got 10 years on me. He's got 10. You know, 33. Used to be golf was. Prime time was in your 30s. Yeah. I'm not really sure where prime time in golf is anymore.
25.
It seems to be late teens, 20s, guys winning in their 40s and 50s. So one of the beauties of the game of golf is that you never know when you're ready.
But let me go back to what you could have added 20 yards to your off the tee, couldn't you?
I could have.
Yeah.
I could have if yeah, I'd have had to work hard.
Speed,
yep,
one thing.
I'd have just had to throw myself at it a little bit more. But yeah,
but you worried that it would upset the rhythm and the timing of your ground game. I mean, of your iron game.
For sure. I mean, I remember the great coach Bob Torrance, who coaches a lot of.
I know
who's a character, great guy. And I remember him telling me once, you know, you never want to try and strengthen your weakness. If you end up
never try to strengthen your weakness.
Never strengthen a weakness if it ends up weakening your strengths. You know, I felt like by trying to get longer, I was going to probably my short iron play, my accuracy off the tee, everything that made me the player that I was probably going to be detrimental to that part of my game. I'm a great medium and short iron player. I'm very accurate off the tee. I hit a lot of fairways.
Yeah, so you're at the top of the game in terms of fairways hit.
For sure, proximity, fairways hit, proximity to the hole from those fairways. Those are my strengths. Yeah, I'd like to move it another 20 yards off the tee, but you know, really changing my swing, changing my body shape, changing the way the dynamics of my golf swing through the impact area, I was probably going to weaken my strength.
And American expression: if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. So I decided to leave that alone.
What's happening to him though? He's hit a rough patch.
You know, he's just gone through a transition phase. You know, he's taken the world by storm the last few years. Taking it in his stride as well, and I mean, you know, unbelievable. It's been an unbelievable kind of rise to fame for him, and how easy he's made it all look. You know, it's I think with every career, in life, business, sport, whatever we do, we're all going to plateau out from time to time and take a little bit of time to acclimatize. When you're on such a steep curve of excellence, I think sometimes you've got to kind of sit back and learn and acclimatize. You know, he's just a young kid from a working class family in Northern Ireland, from a small part of the world, and you know, you're signing multi-million dollar deals with companies like Nike, and there's the pressure that comes with that. It's the pressure he puts on himself, and he's just acclimatizing right now. He still swings it amazing, and it won't be long till he's winning.
He just gets it back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Tiger's got it back.
Tiger's got it back. It's great for the game of golf to have Tiger Woods playing well again. You know, we all have read and we all understand the financial model of golf when Tiger Woods is playing and when Tiger Woods is not playing. I think we had a few years to learn that golf was very healthy without Tiger. But now that he's back playing well again, I think the game is even stronger and even healthier.
Watching, et cetera,
more people watch, more people. There's more buzz, more media attention, more companies interested in wanting to get involved with golf, and the game is. I think the game's in good shape right now.
You know, I went and did an hour with Arnie Palmer, as you know. You know, and somebody later said to me that every golfer who followed Palmer should give him 20% of everything they earned because of what he did for the game. He was important to the game. Tiger's important to the game. Jack was important to the game. You get people that really somehow symbolize the game at a certain moment.
Definitely. I think you look through the last 100, 200 years of golf. I mean, certainly the last 50 years where the game of golf has really morphed into the 21st century game that we know and love. I mean, you look at the Hogans and the Bobby Johns, but more into the financial TV, media, just a real boom in golf. You look at Jack and Arnie. You look at Arnie, really. I mean, Arnie, he was really the pioneer.
He was a charismatic guy.
He really took this game to the next level.
Yeah.
And then follow that in with the Sevis and the Faldos and the great European contingent that came through to go with the Fred Couples and the O'Mearas and then into the era that we all play golf in right now, which is the Tiger Woods era for sure. And I mean, purse sizes have increased exponentially. Like you say, the golfers that follow in the wake of Tiger Woods, perhaps, owe him a percentage of what they're making right now, because he certainly has created the game we're all love so much and make a great living from. But it's a great sport, and we have to work hard, and there's no guarantees in this game. But we're certainly in a great era.
Yeah. You won the U.S. Open, so you've had a major. How do you compare that to the Ryder Cup?
Very, very uncomparable. I think the three greatest experiences I've had in my career so far are the three Ryder Cups I've played in.
Really? The greatest experience?
Yeah.
Now, do Europeans feel different about it than Americans?
I think perhaps the Europeans feel slightly more passionate about the Ryder Cup, because the Americans, it gets a little watered down for them because they play a Ryder Cup, President's Cup, Ryder Cup, President's Cup, but year after year after year after year. And I mean, it gets watered down a little for them. We wait every 2 years to tee it up in that Ryder Cup, and it's Europe versus America, the blue against the red. I mean, we're passionate about it. I think the American team has a young crop of new blood, the Bubbas and the Rickies and the Keegans and the Dustin Johnsons, and I think they're passionate about it. And really kind of has had that injection of kind of energy and excitement. No disrespect to the Tigers and the Phils. Huge respect to those guys. They've been playing Ryder Cups and President's Cups for the last 15 years, not missing one of those. And for that to get watered down a little bit in the way they feel about it, it's inevitable. But I think the Ryder Cup's an amazing experience. The three I've played, win, lose, or draw, have been the most amazing sporting experiences to be part of for me.
I thought the U.S. had it last year.
I thought they did too. Something happened on that Sunday at Medina in Chicago. It's it was a collective effort from Europe, and we just happened to hold some putts, and what an amazing sporting spectacle.
So you're going into the U.S. Open. Is that course to your liking?
I've played Marion once. I'm actually going there tomorrow. I'm very, very excited to get back there. It's sort of 7,000 yards, which is very short by modern standards.
But is it made for your game if it's short, so that precision becomes more important?
For sure. I think U.S. Open golf courses typically fall into a guy, a guy like who has my type of game, precision off the tee, a good iron player, and a good scrambler, a guy who is really good at making his par saves. Definitely, if I play well at Marion, I feel like I can compete. Some golf courses I get to, I see that you require the 350-yard bomb off the tee, and sometimes when I get there, I know that even if I did play well, I might not compete. But Marion is a golf course.
What courses like that?
I look at a place like perhaps the Phoenix Open, where J.B. Holmes won back-to-back there. That's enough said.
Exactly.
A guy hits it so far. But it really just depends on course setup. The firmer, the faster, the better for a guy like me who's not that long off the tee.
The firmer, the faster, because it'll roll?
Because it'll roll, and premium on being on the short stuff to be able to control your second shots coming to firm and fast greens. When the greens get as firm as this table and as fast as this table, you need to be having a little bit of spin and some control coming out of the fairway.
And do you hit it high if you're coming into a hard surface? Yeah,
you want to be trying to hit it high, but if you have 5-iron in your hand, it's pretty hard to control on that type of surface. But the firmer and faster you're trying to flight the ball a little higher with a little bit more fade, a little bit more spin. But I'm excited to see Marion. I'm hoping for deep rough. I'm hoping for.
Why deep rough?
Well, again,
just keep your ball.
Just that premium on accuracy. I think Mike Davis, the CEO of the USGA, he's done some great things with the U.S. Open over the last 10 years, bringing in graduated rough, meaning that if you just miss the fairway, you don't find that couple of yards of terror where it's like, I wish I'd have missed it 15 yards over on the walkway where the spectators are. So he kind of started to graduate the rough, which is great. For the guys who miss it big, they're going to get buried. For the guy who misses it small, he might get a lie. So we'll see. I'm excited to see the setup, and like I say, I feel like if I play good, I can compete.
So do you compete better if you're chasing somebody, or if you're out front?
I really haven't had the pleasure of being too far out front in many times. I mean, most of my wins have been battling wins. I'd like to give it a go, being 5 clear going into the last round. That'll be fun. Give me that shot anytime soon. But there's no doubt there is the leading and defend, trying to defend the lead. Right. You know, obviously the best players in the world, a guy like Tiger, who's one of the best front runners maybe ever. You know, how do you attack a golf course when you're leading? You know, you have to take shots on when it's necessary and know when to defend and when to back off, but try to play positively to conservative targets at times. You know, I came from 4 shots back to win at Harbour Town this year at the RBC Heritage, which was a lot of fun. And
4 shots back on
4 shots
Sunday.
back on Sunday on a tough windy day. And I really just played my game and watched the leaders kind of come back to me and kept my head down. I'm not a leaderboard watcher in that scenario. I like to just try and keep my head down, execute my game plan as well as I possibly can, and perhaps with 7 or 8 holes to go, have a little look and then react accordingly.
And do you try to play within yourself in a same like that? In other words, you know, rather than simply letting it rip, you're playing within yourself. You're hitting it at 85%.
For sure. I think very, very rarely does a top player kind of go 100% at anything. You know, I think our rhythm and our, like you say, the old cliche, play within yourself, is kind of an 80-85% swing thought, good rhythm. And like I say, just being aggressive when you can. Weighing up, you know, it's a risk reward scenario. You just got to kind of weigh up the risks and ask yourself, is it worth it? And have a great caddy in the bag to help you weigh those things up. And
what do they do?
Caddies are an interest. I think players rely at different amounts on caddies. There's certain players out there who do it all themselves, and a caddy is not much more than a bag carrier. I think a guy like me, I have a huge relationship with my caddy. He's been on my back for 7 years now. He's a guy I rely on to help me, to help understand me, help understand the way my brain works, the way my golf swing works, the way my emotions work. When I'm under pressure, a guy to kind of make me laugh and get out of the moment when I need a.
I don't know if this would ever happen, but you look at where you want to go and you say to yourself, this is a 5, this is a 5, and then you go back and he wants to hand you 4. Do you listen or do you what?
Yeah, we will have a debate about whether that is the 4 or the 5 iron, and thankfully it doesn't happen often. We will very often.
You know your game.
We go through a procedure of analysing a shot. It's 160 yards. It's back into the wind. It's playing 170. It's slightly uphill. It's playing 175. Greens are firm. We're trying to pitch that 170. So we go through this kind of little mathematical calculation, and then eventually we will pick a flight and a shape. Sometimes, though, the player will see something. He'll feel a shape. He'll feel a shot, and very, very rarely do I overrule. But it happens now and again, and instincts are important. Yeah. I typically don't like hitting a shot my caddy doesn't like, but it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah. You talked about guiding the ball. The great thing about golf is the better you get, the more interesting the game becomes. I mean, I think that's true about most things, whether it's chess or golf or whatever you do professionally. The sense is that in golf, though, you really know where your club head is at every moment. I think. And hopefully. And you're guiding the ball. I mean, it's a bit like, for people who don't play golf, it really is a sense that you know the kind of pitch you're going to throw, and you know where you've got to go, and you know how to sort of take that ball and really play with it like you're a magician.
For sure. I think when you get to a certain level, anything, any sport, any kind of hobby, any hand-eye coordination sport, I think there's nothing better than the feeling of seeing it with the brain, and then just replicating exactly what you've just seen.
And what happens when you miss-hit?
What happens when you miss it?
Yeah.
I think we're all partial to one of those. Even the top players will miss-hit shots. Any number of things could happen. I mean, the brain can focus on a position or a technique and really loses kind of that coordination of the hand-eye, the strike of the ball. So, I mean, I think anytime you can switch the brain off from a technique point of view and really open up that creative part of your brain, I think at the top level, that's really what separates the kind of the best from the also-rans, is being able to just get away from trying to practice your backswing all day, rather than, I want to make this golf ball do this,
That's what I mean. You want to make this golf ball do this.
And my brain and my body take over all the practice and all the training that I've went through over the years. It's like the brain sees it. The brain knows how to tell the body how to do it. It really doesn't require a huge amount of thought from the player. He's worked on it. He's practiced and trained it. He should instinctively know how to hit that shot, and that's really the kind of golden chalice really of golf that we're all searching for.
I know some players who I've interviewed who say to me that the practice tee, the range is really good for them. They really can work things out. I know other guys have said to me, I don't want to spend much time there. I learned everything that's important to me about golf on the course, and I learned by playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a second guy. I'm a guy who probably fallen into the trap a little bit the last couple of years of becoming a little bit of a range junkie. Really trying to compress my practice time into more disciplined. I'm going to work on my wedges. I'm going to chip. I'm going to putt. I'm going to hit my bunker play. I'm going to work on my long game. I'm going to get my launch monitor right and work on my driver flight and all this stuff. And you lose the art of playing the game. It's a bit like we were talking about. You start to practice all these techniques and positions, and you forget about what golf is. It's about making the golf ball go from A to B in a certain shape or a certain ball flight.
And the way the club head hits the ball and sends it on that direction.
And the scoring, the art of scoring, the art of chipping, putting, getting the ball in the hole. And I learned most of my good stuff on the golf course, playing and competing with friends at the high level, whatever.
Do you have swing thoughts?
I have swing thoughts. I mean, I typically can't play the game without approximately 3. I like a takeaway trigger, I like a transitional trigger, and I like a little kind of impact, a post-impact feel. And
so a takeaway trigger is what?
Takeaway trigger might be outside and wide.
Outside and wide.
Transition thought is typically smooth. Don't rush. And then impact might be keep the chest down, stay in the shot. Really
keep the chest what?
Keep the chest down. Don't kind of come up and out really, and really don't rush it and stay in the shot really. So 2 or 3 simple, nothing too technical, just simple, rhythmical, positive thoughts really, and try and switch the brain off, get out of your own way. That old cliche.
Are there golfers that surprise you how good they are, but you're not very impressed with their swing?
Oh, there's plenty. I'd probably categorize myself as a guy who maybe doesn't have, they're not going to use my golf swing. They're not going to teach my swing. They're not going to teach my swing to kids, whereas an Adam Scott or a Rory McIlroy or Tiger Woods, as beautiful golf swings. That's I wish I could swing the club like that, but there's guys like myself, maybe a Jim Furyk, guys that'll jump off the page at you as having idiosyncratic golf swings, but understand their own swings personally, know how to get the ball in the hole, and play the game very effectively.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Graeme McDowell heading for the U.S. Open in Marion, Pennsylvania. We'll be right back. Stay with us.